The idea of being a full-time entrepreneur can be both exciting and scary at the same time. The enthusiasm of working for yourself, doing what you love, and seeing your business take shape can quickly be dampened by the fear of stepping into unfamiliar territory, financial uncertainty, and self-doubt. All entrepreneurs go through this, and I've spoken to some of them about their experiences. In the next few minutes, we'll discuss one of the most common questions that early or aspiring entrepreneurs ask themselves, and that is, when should I make the jump to working for myself full-time? Hello and welcome to the Savvy Corner. My name is Alisa, and this channel is all about helping you manage your money, your business, and your mind around it. So if you're interested in the topics of money, business, and the associated mindset shifts that come with them, please consider subscribing and hit the bell so you don't miss any future videos. I've had my financial coaching business, the Savvy Corner, since 2017, and I've been a full-time entrepreneur since February 2019. And one of the most asked questions I get with regards to my business is, how did you know you were ready to make the jump and focus on your business full-time? That is what we will discuss in today's video. I have decided to start a series called Ready for Entrepreneurship, where I share practical tips and strategies for making the jump to entrepreneurship smoother. I've interviewed some amazing business owners on the things they wish they had known before making this transition, and I will share their wisdom and mine during the series. Today's video contains some high-level tips for those looking to transition into entrepreneurship but who are unsure if the timing is right. According to Entrepreneur magazine, 2 out of 3 people worldwide think that entrepreneurship is a good career choice. Well, I want to preface this video by saying that entrepreneurship might be a dream for many people, but it doesn't have to be the dream or your dream. Being an entrepreneur is neither better nor worse than being an employee. It's just different, and they both have advantages and disadvantages. So if you're unhappy in your job and you're watching this video in the hope that becoming an entrepreneur will make you happier, I want you to think long and hard about your decision. Some people might find happiness by simply finding a job they don't dislike instead of starting their own business. Entrepreneurship is not easy and it's not for everyone, and that's okay. But let's assume that you know this is what you want to do. The question is, when should you do it? There is no right or wrong time that universally applies to everyone, and the people I've interviewed have made this jump very differently. Some worked full-time and saved as much as they could before quitting their job to start their business. Some, myself included, started their business as a side hustle whilst working full-time and had a longer transition. Others continued to work part-time while running the business on the side, and some simply pulled the plug and quit cold turkey with no financial buffer. If you're watching this and have already made this transition, please let us know in the comments when you've done so and what influenced your decision. Some people wish they had done it sooner, and some wish they had taken a bit more time to make the transition. They all had their reasons, but one thing that weighs heavily when making this decision is your attitude to risk. What was most commonly referred to as risk is the financial fluctuation with regards to revenue, also known as peaks and troughs, and the uncertainty of not knowing where your next contract is coming from and whether the business will be able to sustain you and itself financially. We're going to talk more about the financial aspect of entrepreneurship in a future video, but the bottom line here is this: your attitude to the risks I mentioned will determine if you make the jump after a couple of years with a financial cushion that's big enough to pay for basic expenses for an entire year, let's say, versus making the jump in a couple of months or weeks with minimal or no financial buffer at all. I would recommend the same thing to you as I recommend to my financial coaching clients, and that is building a buffer that covers between 3 and 6 months of your expenses. These are both personal expenses such as your rent or mortgage, utilities and other bills, food and medicine, etc., as well as basic business expenses such as insurance, rent and utilities for your office if you have one, software tools and technology that allow you to conduct your business, transportation, and so on. You might also need to factor in costs for outsourcing work such as admin or finances, but we will discuss these in a future video. One word of caution with regards to risk. The jump to entrepreneurship will not be risk-free, just like staying in a job is not risk-free either. So if you are more risk-averse, check that you're not actually considering risks that have a very slim chance of happening and allowing them to weigh heavily in your decision-making. If you do that, you might never be a full-time entrepreneur. Your personal circumstances might also influence your decision for when to make the jump. If you don't have debt or your expenses are minimal, let's say you already own your house, you don't have any dependents, or your partner's income is sufficient to sustain your household for a longer period of time, then you might be willing to make the transition into entrepreneurship sooner. If, however, you are a single parent who is in debt, perhaps you would want to clear some of that debt and build a bigger financial cushion before you quit your job. These are not hard and fast rules, but they are common sense financial principles to follow. If you're enjoying the video so far, please give it a big thumbs up. This video was inspired by the tips and advice shared by these amazing entrepreneurs. I will leave their contact details below if you want to check out their work, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank them for their contribution. Another important aspect that will help you decide when to make the jump is the demand for your products or services and the relevance of your business in the current economic and social climate. All businesses are created as a response to a problem, and while some serve an established and stable market, others have emerged as disruptors and innovators, serving problems more efficiently, more environmentally friendly, or simply solving problems that only exist because of a particular event. Depending on the category your business falls into, your transition to entrepreneurship can be at any time or at a very specific time. To give you a very simplistic example, launching a Christmas-themed business in October makes sense, but doing so in February might not be such a good idea. So before you make the jump, make sure you have done a lot of research with regards to the market you will operate in, the demand for your services, if and how demand fluctuates throughout the year, your competition, and similar products or services that already exist. A crowded market indicates high demand but also high competition and perhaps higher barriers to entry. A less mature market has potential for innovation and high market share, but also less case studies and data are available for your research. Speaking of data, if you have been running your business for a while as a side hustle, you can look at the evidence as a way to decide when to make the transition to entrepreneurship. There are 3 aspects of your business you need to pay attention to. The first one is the volume of business you currently have. Does it fill up the time you have available to dedicate to your business? Do you have your hands full, so to speak, and don't have time to get bored? Are you at a stage where you are working long hours to accommodate your business? If so, move on to looking at the next area I'm about to mention. But if not, you might need to get more business through the door before quitting your job. The second aspect you want to pay attention to is your pipeline. Are you constantly negotiating and securing opportunities? Do you need to put people who want to work with you on a waiting list? If a contract finishes, is there another one waiting to be started? Your pipeline gives you a good indication of what the next few months are likely to look like, and it will help paint a bigger picture besides your current level of work. Because if you're busy now but in 3 months' time it all dries out, you might regret the jump. The third area to look at is your revenue. You might be very busy and with a long waiting list, but if you're charging too low for your products or services, then you won't be able to sustain yourself from your business. I'm making an assumption here that your costs are not very high, but if they are, then you might want to look at profit instead of revenue. Another good practice is to do a cash flow projection or work with an accountant to do one and check what your business is likely to look like in a year's time. This exercise will highlight any areas that need addressing so you can start working on them before making the jump if necessary. We will discuss cash flow again in a future video. As I said earlier, there is no perfect time to make this jump. There will never be one, and waiting for it to be perfect means that you risk waiting forever. I hope that the tips I shared in this video have given you some aspects to consider when making this decision. As we progress through the series, things will become clearer, but until then, if you're looking for more money and business related tips, I invite you to watch the 2 videos that are suggested on the screen right now. That's it from me for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!